Welcome to Navigating Money Matters in College webinar series. Whether you are a student, parent, or educator, we are dedicated to assisting you in navigating financial challenges during college. Throughout this series, we'll cover crucial topics like budgeting, student loans, scholarships, part time employment, and more. Our aim is to empower you with the knowledge needed for informed financial decisions. To ensure a smooth webinar experience, please adhere to these guidelines. Be courteous to host, speakers, and fellow participants. Join a few minutes early to avoid technical issues. Use the chat and Q&A features to ask questions, share insights, and connect with other participants. If you're hesitant to ask questions now, consider joining our live event on January 11th at YOG Fieldhouse from 9 to 12 p.m., where you can personally meet presenters, including representatives from 4 local banks, and engage in discussions at their informational tables. Keep personal information to private for everyone's security. Ensure a stable internet connection. Reach out to our support team for technical issues. At the end of our webinar today, we will provide a survey and we would appreciate it if you could complete it, as we value your feedback. This webinar will be recorded and posted on the TAC website. Your camera feature will not be accessible to protect your privacy. Let's make this series a valuable learning experience together. Good evening. Hi, I wanted to inform you of a change in the venue for the Navigating Matters in College Fair scheduled for January 11th. A new venue is at Lecture Hall. Kindly take note of this adjustment. Okay, so it will be at the class lecture hall, not YOG Fieldhouse, okay? All right, so welcome Triton students and honored guests to our webinar series, Navigating Money Matters in College. I'm Vivian Valdez, a financial advising specialist at the Triton Advising Center. Today's session marks the beginning of our journey toward financial empowerment, and we are all thrilled to have you with us. Our first presenter, Mr. Nathan Tupasna, and with him is Vanessa from the YOG Financial Aid Office. They will give us, or the Financial Aid Office will guide us through the intricacies of the financial aid process. So their insights are vital for Triton students like you and veterans to navigate the resources available for academic success. All right, so let's welcome Nathan Tupasna and Vanessa Cruz.
Off a day. Thank you, Vivian, for that introduction. Give me one moment to just share my screen and we can go ahead and begin the presentation. Okay. Oops. There we go. I think I have to reshare it for you to see the presenter view. Are you guys able to see the presentation right now?
It's just showing Nathan Tupasno started screen sharing, but we haven't seen your. There you go. It's coming out right now.
Okay.
There you go.
You can see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oops. Okay. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the presentation. My name is Nathan Topasnia and I'm here with Vanessa Cruz. We are the outreach coordinators and program coordinators over at the Financial Aid Office. And today we're going to be talking about really an introduction to financial aid, the programs and services that we offer at the Financial Aid Office. If you guys have any questions, there's going to be a Q&A portion at the end. But if there's something, really urgent, feel free to type it in the chat and then the moderator can let us know that there's a question and we can try to answer it to the best of our abilities. But otherwise, we'll have a Q&A at the end. Okay, so this is FAFSA 101, Introduction to Financial Aid. So the first thing we want to talk about is the UOG mission statement, which is Ina Descubri Setbi, which means to enlighten, to discover, and to serve. And that's really the what this presentation is going to be focused on today is how does the Financial Aid Office, how are we working to enlighten, to discover, and to serve our students as well as our island community. All right, so what we're going to be covering in today's presentation includes a FAFSA overview. We're going to talk about what is FAFSA, how do you apply for it, and then upcoming changes to the academic year that'll be taking place after the current one that we're in, which is academic year 23-24. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Then we'll talk about the different types of financial aid programs that we offer, which includes grants, loans, and scholarships. And we'll talk about the different types that we have here at the Financial Aid Office. And then lastly, we'll be talking about managing your financial aid using self-service. So the University of Guam has an online platform that students use to do all of their student services digitally. And this includes managing your financial aid. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. So we're going to talk about the changes for the upcoming school year, or actually not the upcoming school year. This is going to take place for academic year 24-25, which will be the following semester. So we're currently going into spring 24. So these changes will be implemented fall 24. So let's just go ahead and watch this video really quick. I'm sorry, are you guys able to hear the volume for the video? Vivian, are you able to hear the volume when the video is playing?
No, are you playing it right now? I haven't. I didn't hear the sound yet.
Okay. In that case, if the sound doesn't go through, then we'll just go ahead and skip the video. For anyone who's interested, though, this is on studentaid.gov's YouTube channel. So this is the official video that's being used to just, really just a general overview of what's going to be changing. But these changes are not, again, not going to be coming for an entire semester. So we plan to actually give more presentations about the upcoming changes as we get closer to when the academic year is going to change. But we'll just skip ahead. So what is FAFSA? FAFSA is an acronym that stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is a form or a document that's administered by the FSA, which is an office out of the US DOE. So the FAFSA form helps us to determine eligibility. So our office uses this form to determine what the respective student is eligible for. And then we use this form we use the information on the form to figure out basically how much aid you're qualified for and what options you have available to you. So the FAFSA form is 100% free. And we recommend that all students do the FAFSA application, whether you think you're going to qualify or not, because it's always good to know what you're eligible for. And what we've encountered is that a lot of students think that they're not eligible for financial aid, but then when they take the time to do the application, they learn that they actually are qualified for either some or the maximum allotment. So how do you apply for financial aid? So in order for our office, financial aid office, to assist you, you have to complete the application. So the digital application for FAFSA can be found at fafsa.gov. Right now, you can still apply and submit an application for the current academic year, which is 23-24. So for those of you who have not applied yet and are interested in knowing whether or not you would qualify for some form of aid, you can still do the application. And so once your application is completed and successfully submitted, the FSA will send you a confirmation email. And then from there, they're going to send us an email and your student aid report saying that you've successfully completed. And then from that point, our office, the financial aid office, will email you saying we received your student aid report, and we're determined, this is what you're qualified for. And within that student aid report, you'll see things like your EFC, which is the number that we use to determine what you qualified for. So you can actually use this QR code right now. It takes you to the FAFSA website, and then there'll be a box that says new to the FAFSA process. The completing the form is free, so you'll see this area, and this is where you'll do the FAFSA application for 23-24. Now, if you're interested in applying for the upcoming academic year, for 24-25, that application isn't actually live yet, so it would have talked about that in the video. And that's because they're going to be implementing changes to make the application process more streamlined for students. So unfortunately, the application hasn't gone live yet because a lot of these changes, I guess they're still working out the final details of the changes, but just something to think about. Okay, so what types of financial aid are offered at University of Guam? So we offer a variety of different types of financial aid to our students, which includes grants, loans, and scholarships. And we're going to go over each of these types just so that you're familiar with all the different options. And then from there, when you do your FAFSA application, you can also keep in the back of your mind what programs or services you would be interested in pursuing. All right, so we'll talk about federal Pell Grant. So the Pell Grant is a form of needs-based federal financial aid. Again, the money comes from US DOE, and the purpose of this program is to help eligible low-income students pay for college costs, which includes tuition and other expenses like fees. And we'll talk a little bit about how that number is calculated in a bit. So federal Pell Grant, unlike a loan, does not have to be repaid. So this is essentially free money. That's why we recommend that all students complete their FAFSA application, because if you qualify for federal Pell Grant, you'll automatically get money that can go towards your tuition or your school fees. And again, unlike a loan, this money does not have to be repaid. So this is a very advantageous program for students, whether you're having issues paying for school or not. Going to college is it's not cheap. So even if you're able to manage paying for school, that doesn't mean that having the federal government give you aid that will make your life that much easier. Okay, so the maximum federal Pell Grant amount for 23-24 is $7,395 for the academic year. So that's dispersed between 2 different semesters. And the amount that you would receive, again, is it depends on the student and the information that you put on your application. But the way that we determine your cost of attendance is we look at how much does it cost to go to school for the year, how much is it going to cost if you're a full-time or a part-time student? And then other factors such as how much do you pay in fees, how much do you pay in, gas, or how much do you pay for electronics to use for school, like your laptop. So all of those are factored into how we determine the cost of attendance. So we use 2 metrics, which is your EFC, which comes from your student aid report, and we use the cost of attendance to determine how much aid you're qualified for. All right, we'll talk about another program. So another needs-based program that we offer at the University of Guam is Federal Work Study. This one kind of goes hand in hand with the previous program that we just discussed, which is Pell Grant. And the reason why I say that is because if you qualify for Pell Grant, then you most likely meet the eligibility requirements for Federal Work Study. So what is Federal Work Study? Work study is a way for students to earn money to pay for school by working part-time jobs on the college campus. So essentially, you would be employed by the University of Guam, you would be working for the University of Guam, and you would be a real employee, and you would get you'd get a paycheck. Uh, so you could, and this again is a needs-based program that's if you qualify for Pell Grant, you would qualify for this. So students who are a part of this program, this is another really good opportunity because you'd be working for school. You would have financial aid help you reduce the cost of your tuition, and then you would also get paid for the hours that you worked. So one more time, this is a needs-based program. You have to be enrolled in at least 6 credits to qualify for this program. And the deadline for 23-24 already passed, but we post the deadline on our website. So for those of you who are interested in the upcoming academic year, I highly recommend that you go to our website and look for when the date is posted because it's only open one day out of the year during August. And it's a first come, first serve program. So for this academic year, only the first 115 applicants were considered. And so, that number is can fluctuate between academic years. So we may have more spots available, we may have less, but again, it's first come, first serve. So if you're interested in work study, just keep an eye out on our website. And while we're on that note, the University of Guam website, all the information that I'm talking about today can also be found on the UOG website. So feel free to go check out the financial aid section there if you want more information. So let's move on. We're going to talk about federal direct loans. So another program that's offered under Title IV is federal direct loans. So a direct loan is a federal student loan made directly by the US DOE. So you would be borrowing money from them. These are the types of federal direct loans that we offer at the University of Guam. So we have subsidized, unsubsidized, and direct plus loans. The most common that students apply for, especially undergraduate students, are these two, which is subsidized and unsubsidized. So we're going to talk mainly about those. But for those of you who are interested in a direct plus loan, we do offer this. We have our applications at our main office, or you can get it online. And it has the requirements there. But let's talk about these two because these are the most common. So for direct subsidized loans, these are loans that, again, are needs-based. That's how we determine whether you qualify for it or not. And while a student is enrolled at school, they have to be at least half-time. The federal government pays the interest on this loan. So what does that mean? When you take out a loan, depending on how long it takes you to pay it back, there's going to be an interest rate on that loan. And over time, you are going to be paying, like, let's say, this is just an example. Let's say you borrow $2,000. So of course you have to pay back the $2,000, but there's going to be interest, which means wherever you borrowed the money from, whether that's the bank or the federal government, you are going to be paying additional interest on top of the $2,000 that you borrowed. So the benefit of a direct subsidized loan is that while you're in school and as long as you are at least half time, the federal government pays all the interest that you would have accrued. And then it's only when you stop going to school, so that's whether you're no longer enrolled as a student or if you graduate, that's when you begin paying back the loan. But while you're a student, you're not required to make any payments. And the interest only begins accruing after you stop going to school. Now, the difference between a subsidized and an unsubsidized loan is the unsubsidized loan begins to accrue interest as soon as you take the loan out. So even though, just like the subsidized loans, you're not required to start paying the loans back unless you are not enrolled in school or if you graduate, the loans will accrue interest right when you take them out. So, and it's going to continue to accrue interest up until you graduate and pay them. Okay, so those are the differences between the two loan packages that we offer here at the University of Guam. for those of you who are wondering how much can I borrow in loans, so that number changes depending on your class level. So for example, the subsidized loans, the maximum amount that a student can take out per semester is 3,500 if they're a freshman, and then it's 4,500 if you're a sophomore, and then juniors and seniors can get a maximum of 5,500. And then depending on your eligibility status for your subsidized loans, because we'll always recommend getting these first, that will determine how much in unsubsidized loans you can borrow if you want to go that route. And we do have students that take out both subsidized and unsubsidized loans. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the microphone over to Vanessa, who is our representative that handles the scholarships. She's under SFAT, but their section covers all the scholarships. So she can just give you a general overview of what we have before we talk about self-service.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so as he was saying, so here are some of the scholarships that we have, also known as SBAC. Here we have the Merit Award. So this Merit Award is given to students who are in the top 10, or it depends on the budget that they have in high school. So it's in the top student in high school. So we have also the health professionals, also known as nursing, and then social work. So in order for students to be in this program, they need to be in the nursing program and social work program. And then students can apply for the Doc Sanchez scholarship, and then the ProTech Award. And then we have the YTC, so students who are in the education majors. And then here lastly, we have the AHEG, also known as the Access to Higher Education Grant. So students who are qualified can go to our website with other scholarships that we have. So here are some of the scholarships, also known as well, that we have presented for you. So there's more scholarships available in the UG website under financial aid. And these are the open scholarships, which will be available during spring 2024. So later in this semester. And then also this recurring the AGA API. I think for the API, the deadline's already passed. And then we have this other Asian Pacific, and then this flag. I know this one, it's the Filipino, and then the flag, and then separate is going to be occurring. So just watch out the scholarships online. So managing your financial aid using self-service. So before we had other website that's not self-service, but now everything is available and accessible to students at self-service. So this is part of the UOG's initiative to reduce the paper waste. So students can submit their documents, such as the student information form, their requirements. If, let's say, students wanna apply for loans, they can submit their loan documents online. And then once they do that, they're gonna receive an email at the financial aid to let them know that they receive it and what other requirements that they need. Okay, now here's an example on managing your self-service. So if you go to the uog.edu website, and then at the top right corner, you can click login, and then on the third lines, click self-service. So this is utilizing the self-service. It's really easy. Students can really click and then go here, and you can access your grades, your information, and then if you have further questions about that you're having hard time to log in, they can just visit us at Financial Aid, or give us a call, or email us as well. And this is just an example, so we just use my example that you can see. So if they click on self-service, put their username and password, they click on financial aid. So once they click there, they're gonna see there's different required documents. And then if they wanna submit, there's like a link that they submit SAF or submit loan information like this. And then some students would come to the office and say that they're having trouble. Like, as you can see in the second one, the action needed. So they would say they're not able to click on it. So the reasons is that they have already accepted the award, and then they can just um wait for an email letting them know that they're able to accept the next semester award, or if they already accepted, or if they cancel their loans. It depends on the case by case basis. So this is just the information that students can look. Yes. And then do you guys have any other questions, comments, or concerns?
All right, thank you, Nathan and Vanessa. Thank you for your presentations. Participants, do you guys have any questions? No questions? All right, there is actually one question here on my private chat. It's asking,
Sure.
I guess Nathan or Vanessa, you guys can answer, any of you. How can I follow up on my financial aid application status?
Okay, great question. And believe it or not, this happens to a lot of students. So it depends because there's a number of things that can happen because again, the application is 100% digital and it's done on the students' time, right? So there's a number of things that can happen because some students don't successfully complete the application, but they think they did, right? They think just because you get to the last screen, that means the application's done and all of a sudden you're going to get access to the money. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. So the first thing that I would recommend is go back to your application and double check that you clicked submit, because some students will click save because there's a save feature so that you can go back and access it or edit your application later. So that's the first thing, is if you need to follow up on where you're at in the process, you need to make sure that you've successfully completed it. That's the first step. The second step is check your email. Your GoTriton email is always going to be the one that we use for school purposes. So it's in your best interest to use your school email for your FAFSA application, but check your email, whichever one you use to log into studentaid.gov, because when you successfully complete your application, you're going to receive an email from studentaid.gov saying you have successfully completed the email, or sorry, you have successfully completed the FAFSA application. If you do not have that email, then that means something went wrong. They're not going to receive your application, and as a result, they're not going to forward us your student aid report. So that's the second thing you got to do, is check to see if you received that notification email. Next, the third step is that you have to wait to receive an email from us. So it takes roughly 7 to 10 business days if all things go, if all things work out as they're supposed to. It takes 7 to 10 business days for studentaid.gov to forward us your student aid report, because they still have to generate the report. And once we receive your student aid report, we will send the student an email saying, Day, we received your student aid report. We are ready to move forward with your to determine what you're eligible for and to see what kind of programs you're interested in. So those are the three main things that I recommend students need to double check that they're happening, because if none of those things happened, then that's sort of where you're stuck in the process. Now, if all of those things happened and you have not received an email from us, you give us a call and we'll figure out where you're at from there. I see there are two questions in the comments. Would UOG accept scholarships from FastWeb or Scholarship 360? Just to clarify on the unsubsidized loan. Okay, so there's two questions here. I'll go ahead and answer them both, but I hope that was helpful in regards to the how do I follow up. Now, if you just have no idea, sorry, I'm going to go back to the question real quick. If you just have no idea where you're at in the process, or you think you've completed it, but you haven't received any of those notifications, you're more than welcome to come into the financial aid office. We can go ahead and look at your account. I recommend bringing a smart device so that we can access it. But we can take a look at your account. We can see where you're at on the application. And then on our end, we can also check on our system, if we've received anything like your student aid report, and we can try to go from there. Okay, let's talk about this. Jude Moffinis is asking about the unsubsidized loans. It says, does the interest stop when you are done with class or when the loan is paid off? Okay, great question. So for an unsubsidized loan, what happens is you will accrue interest for as long as you owe the federal government money, right? So different people are going to take different amounts of time to pay off their loans. And again, the time and the amount is going to be it's dependent on the student. So how much money you take out. Now, in regards to the interest, you will accrue interest for as long as the loan has not been fully paid yet. So to answer the question, does the interest stop when you are done with class or when the loan is paid off? It is when the loan is fully paid off, is when you stop accruing interest on that loan. I hope I answered that one. Good. And then let's do this other question. Would UOG accept scholarships from FastWeb or Scholarship 360? So I actually am not too familiar with those platforms. But all financial aid that UOG offers, with a few exceptions locally, those are handled by our office, and the applications are submitted to our office as well. So for outside scholarships, you may have to come in, and we may have to research that further in terms of how that's handled, because there are, like, for example, there are private scholarships that you could apply for that are outside of UOG, and they may very well just give you the money directly. So that might be something that you just handle between the whoever the donor of the scholarship is. But again, if you want, you can come in and we can try to research that one further, because that's a good question. Okay.
I guess, Nathan, that's it. We don't have any more questions for you. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. And I just want to conclude by reiterating what Vanessa said earlier, that if you guys have any questions, don't be shy. Feel free to come into our office. That's really the best way to get information, because some of the stuff is just so technical that it's just easier if you have someone that you can talk to face to face, that can show you on the screen where certain things are, or that, we can help you troubleshoot. So you're free to come into our office. You don't need an appointment, but you're welcome to schedule one, but we accept walk-ins. And if you need to contact us, here's our phone number. And if you want to just send general inquiries, this is the email we recommend emailing first, because this is where all the general inquiries go. And we have someone that's dedicated to answering those specifically. So if you're trying to get a hold of us via email, this is the best one to use. And that'll be all.
All right. Thank you, Nathan and Vanessa.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we are honored to have Miss Eileen Artero, UOG Veteran School Certifying Official, sharing essential information to equip our veteran students with the knowledge and financial skills needed for success beyond college. Let's welcome Miss Eileen Artero.
Okay, I'm just checking. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. So I'm going to go over a little bit about the Military Veteran Student Services office here at the University of Guam. Again, like Ms. Vivian said, thank you. My name is Eileen Artero. I am a Senior Student Academic Counseling Specialist and the VA School Certifying Official for the University of Guam. Okay. Before I jump right into it, kind of what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over three most used education programs, eligibility, and benefits. So I didn't want to bore you all with all the little intricacies, getting into all those different programs. I think it's always better to do it one-on-one. You're more than welcome to come into my office and we can go through each of them and see which ones you're maybe most eligible for, or you meet the eligibility requirements for. But I wanted to highlight the 3 most used programs here at the University of Guam. And then we'll go into the eligibility, like I said, and then the benefits of those programs. And then moving into the processes of certification, the student side, and then also on the school certifying official side. I'll go through what my processes are with you, and then we can take questions at the end. Okay. So jumping right into it, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the GI Bill benefits. So GI Bill benefits help you pay for college, graduate school, and training programs. For the University of Guam, there is also a website through the VA. It's va.gov, and then it's called WEAMS, WEAMS. And the WEAMS site has all the approved programs that the University of Guam offers, that is all the programs that the University of Guam offers that are approved by the VA for any of the education benefits. So they have to be approved by the VA in order for you to access or use your benefits for those programs. Okay. And so since 1944, the GI Bill has helped qualifying veterans and their family members get money to cover all or some of the costs for school or training. If you applied for and were awarded post 9/11 GI Bill benefits, your GI Bill statement of benefits will show you how much of your benefits you've used and how much you have left to use. Okay. Moving into the eligibility portion, I always recommend, as you go through this, the va.gov website is an amazing resource. It talks about it, and it also is interactive in the sense where you can go in and it'll ask you questions, right? It'll ask you questions on, are you the service member, or are you using benefits that were transferred over to you, right? It'll help you determine your eligibility, and like I said, it's an interactive process. So as you go through it, you're able to kind of just see, okay, is this what I'm going for? Is this what I'm looking at? What are the benefits that I'm eligible for? And do I qualify? So just on a little bit of a basic side, right? So if you're asking, am I eligible for post 9/11 GI Bill benefits? You may be eligible for benefits if you meet at least one of these requirements. So it says at least one of these must be true. So you must have served at least 90 days on active duty, either all at one place or with breaks in service, on or after September 11, 2001. Or you received a Purple Heart on or after September 11, 2001, and were honorably discharged after any amount of service. Or you served for at least 30 continuous days all at once without a break in service on or after September 11, 2001, and were honorably discharged with the service-connected disability. Or you are a dependent child using benefits transferred by a qualifying veteran or service member. And then just to note, if you are a member of the reserves who lost education benefits when the Reserve Educational Assistance Program ended in November 2015, you may qualify to receive restored benefits under post 9/11 GI Bill. Okay. This is a little bit of an estimate of your benefits at the University of Guam. So the GI Bill pays your tuition and fees to the school. So the GI Bill pays to the school $6,110 per year. Now that's not a flat rate. That's just the most that they will pay to the University of Guam. This is dependent upon how many credits you're taking and the status you're at. If you're full-time, part-time, and then I'll also go through the next slide as well. And it'll show a little bit of the breakdown as far as percentages are concerned as well. So tuition and fees charged, out-of-pocket tuition, there's a star there because there's certain percentages for your GI Bill, which I'll get into in the next slide. And then your housing allowance is going to be $2,450 per month, and that's for a full-time student. And then you should also be getting under the post 9/11 a book stipend, which is about $1,000 per year. Okay. This is the chart that I was kind of referencing. So for those that are active duty, completed percentage of maximum benefit payable. And it goes into detail, a little bit of detail, right? So if you've only served 90 days to 6 months, your percentage is going to be at 40%. So this means that if your tuition is $1,000, they're only going to pay $400 of that $1,000. So 40%. This also means that your housing allowance at $2,450, they're only going to be paying 40% as well. So of all your benefits, this is what you're going to be at if you've only served from 90 days to 6 months. If you've been in at least 36 months, right? then you're looking at getting 100% of the maximum benefit. Okay. So you got to kind of find where on the scale if you're active duty, where on the scale you may fall, right? And like I said, the va.gov website, it really takes you through it interactively. And so you'll be able to kind of see where you're at. And once you're done with the application process, they'll provide you a statement of benefits, and it'll tell you you're eligible for 36 months of GI Bill benefits at 70%. And it's pretty straightforward that way, right? And then as you continue to put in more service, it'll increase. The other one I wanted to talk about is the Survivor Independence Educational Assistance. So if you're the child or spouse of a veteran or service member who has died, is captured or missing, or has disabilities, you may be able to get help paying for school or job training through the DEA program. This is also known as Chapter 35. To be eligible for Chapter 35, excuse me, one of these descriptions must be true for the veteran or the service member. So the veteran or service member is permanently and totally disabled due to a service-connected disability, or the veteran or service member died in the line of duty, or the veteran or service member died as a result of a service-connected disability, or the veteran or service member is missing in action or was captured in the line of duty by a hostile force for more than 90 days, or the veteran or service member was forcibly detained, held, or interned in the line of duty by a foreign entity for more than 90 days, or the service member is in the hospital or getting outpatient treatment for a service-connected permanent and total disability and is likely to be discharged for that disability. And then it also goes on, so, and one of these descriptions must be true for you. So you have to be 18 years or older, or you have completed high school or secondary education. Okay. The benefits under this Chapter 35 program is the VA will send you a monthly payment to help you cover the cost of these programs. So unlike post 9/11, they're not paying your tuition and fees. All they're doing is paying you a monthly payment to help you cover the cost of the programs. So for the University of Guam, we wouldn't be getting any funds from the VA for anyone under Chapter 35. The funds will be going directly to you, and it's up to you how you want to spend that monthly payment that they give you. More than likely, you could use it to pay for your tuition. In most cases that I've seen, what they give you as far as your monthly payment is probably just enough to cover your tuition and fees as a full-time student. And that's roughly at about 12 credit hours. Okay. Excuse me. So college or graduate degree programs, career training certificate courses, apprenticeships, and on-the-job training. Again, for the University of Guam, it's specific to those programs that are approved by the VA for the University of Guam. So I would reference, if you're looking at trying to use these benefits, please reference the WAMES website through the va.gov channel. You may also get educational and career counseling through the VA. This may be something that they offer as well. So if you use the DEA benefits to pay for school or training that started before August 1st, 2018, you may be able to get benefits for up to 45 months. If you started your school or training on or after August 1st, 2018, you may be able to get benefits for up to 36 months. Again, all of these things are not determined by the University of Guam, they're determined by the VA. And so that's why we really reference you to go back to them and go back to the website to kind of just go through the processes of doing the application and then seeing what they provide to you as far as your determined benefits. The next one that I want to talk about is veteran readiness and employment. This one is known as Chapter 31, right? So if you have a service-connected disability that limits your ability to do work or prevents you from working, the veteran readiness and employment, which is also formerly called vocational rehab and employment, they can help. So this program, also known as Chapter 31 or VRNE, helps you explore employment options and address education or training needs. In some cases, your family members may also qualify for certain benefits. Okay. To be eligible for this program, you have to meet both of these requirements. So all of these must be true. One, you didn't receive a dishonorable discharge, and you have a service-connected disability rating of at least 10% from the VA. Okay. When the VA receives your VRNE application, they'll schedule your initial evaluation with the voc rehab counselor, which is the VRC. The VRC will determine if you're entitled to receive VRNE benefits and services. If you were discharged from active duty before January 1st, 2013, your basic period of eligibility ends 12 years from one of these dates, whichever comes later. The date you received notice of your date of separation from active duty, or the date you received your first VA service-connected disability rating. The basic period of eligibility may be extended if a VRC finds that you have a serious employment handicap. Having an SCH means your service-connected disability significantly limits your ability to prepare for, obtain, and maintain suitable employment. A job that doesn't make your disability worse, is stable, and matches your abilities, aptitudes, and interests. If you were discharged from active duty on or after January 1st, 2013, the 12-year basic period of eligibility doesn't apply to you. There's no time limit on your eligibility. And a lot of these things here can be discussed with your VRC, your voc rehab counselor. So depending on your needs and goals, services may include a complete evaluation to determine your abilities, skills, and interests for employment, professional or vocational counseling and rehabilitation planning for employment services such as job training, resume development, and other work readiness support, help finding and keeping a job, including the use of special employer incentives and job accommodations, on-the-job training, apprenticeships, and non-paid work experiences, post-secondary education and training at a college, vocational, technical, or business school, supportive rehabilitation services, including case management, counseling, and medical referrals, and independent living services to help you live as independently as possible. Okay. And then the next portion I'm going to go into is the processes, right? So the processes of certification on the student side. So basically the first thing here is you're going to apply for VA benefits at va.gov and receive a certificate of eligibility. The second step would be then to apply to the University of Guam and receive clearances to proceed with registration. The third step would be to see an academic advisor and register for classes. And then the fourth step would be to complete and submit the enrollment manager registration form, your request for certification form, and a copy of your certificate of eligibility, or COE. Okay. On the school certifying official side, what we do is we'll review and compare your current registration with your current program evaluation. So for courses that are ineligible, the cost of those courses, tuitions, and fees are subtracted from the total tuition due. This will be the eligible tuition and fees reported to the VA. Okay. We compare the number of credits requested for certification to determine eligible credits, and then advise students of adverse determination and seek clarification. So most of the time when this comes up, we'll reach out to students and say, okay, we notice you're taking this other course that doesn't apply to your degree program. Is there a reason you're taking this course? Most of the time, it's just they added it to their schedule to become full-time. And so we kind of let them know that you have to take courses that are applicable to your degree program. If they're not applicable to your degree program, then we can't certify the course. The only time this is ever allowed or is an exception is in your graduating semester. We're able to certify courses and what they call a round out. So it's basically rounding it out so that you're now at this semester, you're going to graduate. You maybe only need one more course left to graduate. So we round out with the other courses and we can certify those as well. So that way, one, you're full-time, and two, you get the most to maximize you're able to maximize your benefits there. Okay. And then the fourth portion or the fourth step there is to submit the certification via the VA enrollment manager. That goes in, it goes to the VA, they do the determination on it. They'll calculate the percentage that's based off of your benefit, and then they'll make the payments to the students and then also to the university if it's post 9/11. If it's Chapter 35, which is the Dependents Education Assistance, Again, that the University of Guam doesn't receive any payments from the VA on that. That monthly stipend basically just goes directly to the student. Okay. And let me see. All right. And then just some things to note as well. The VA does pay up for up to 2 failed courses. Depending on the situation, a student may choose to stay in a course even if they are failing, so that other benefits are not reduced. So let's say, for example, you're taking 12 credit hours for the semester. You feel like you need to withdraw from a course. You're not doing so well. If you withdraw from the course, depending, let's say we're going to start next semester. You withdraw from the course in February, the remaining credits are going to be the only credits you're certified for moving on from March, April, May, right? So let's say you drop one course, you're now down to 9. You're going to be basically at 3/4. You wouldn't be at full time anymore. You're going to be at about 75% would be your rate of pursuit. What they'll do is they'll look at that and say, okay, you're now, the rate of pursuit is not 100%. It's now roughly, we'll just calculate it up at 9 credit hours. We'll give them 80%. So 80% is what you'll be receiving for your housing allowance because you're not full-time. So 80% of 2450, you guys can do the math. That's how much you'll be receiving under post 9/11. Okay. Same would go for chapter 35, the DEA program. They would give you a reduced percentage rate. The rate of pursuit is determined a little bit differently, but it will be a reduction in the stipend that's given to you. Okay. And then it's important also to note the last day of attendance. For post 9/11, the student self-reports their monthly attendance, and so the VA may ask if the student failed, when was the last day they attended classes? And so that would determine, again, when you're receiving your benefits, and if there's maybe, if let's say it wasn't reported that you went from full-time to quarter time, 3/4 time, or even half time, you may be responsible for paying back that additional benefit that you were receiving that you weren't really entitled to during that period of time. Okay. All right. And then at this time, I can go ahead and take any questions if there's any. Let's see.
Nice. Any questions, participants? There's actually one question here, Miss Eileen. It's on a private chat for me. Can Miss Eileen Artero help with career planning and transition for veteran students?
We can talk about it. We can always talk about it, right? Career planning. I'm not a VRC counselor, so I can't handle that portion of things, right? So for that, you're gonna have to really go back to VRC counselor. But if you want to talk career planning, you want to see what else is out there. I do get resources from the VA. Every so often they'll send me an email or we'll connect with different people out there in the community. And if they're offering anything connected to, the veterans or specifically for the veterans, always more than willing to share that type of information. So they can definitely, it's not listed kind of thing, but we can definitely do some research and some just conversations too about what's going on, what you're looking at, and then where you're looking at going to, right? And we could definitely talk and see where else we can use our resources to be able to connect within the community as well.
Great. There's actually 2 questions on chat, Miss Eileen. How much money is given through the GI Bill?
So I did give in one of the slides let's see if I can find it back here. So the GI Bill pays to the school. So let's say you're full-time, the most they'll pay to the school is $6,110 per year. What we report though as your tuition and fees, that's what's paid to the University of Guam. So depending on how many credits you're taking for the semester, what classes you're taking, whatever is listed as your tuition and fees for that semester, that's what's reported to the VA with your certification.
Great.
So I hope that kind of answers that question. And then Jude, I see your question. Have you been able to establish a new contact for the VA? We did get another email address for the VA, and so I did send them an email. Unfortunately, I haven't received a response yet. I have also called a couple of times, and I'm not able to get through to a live person on the other side, but I have left messages. So I'll continue to try and see how I can get connected to someone. We do have some things pending for some of our students, and I know we really want to get them to be able to get situated for this next semester, right? We kind of just want to make sure things go smoothly. So we are continuing to reach out to the two contacts that were given. And so really hoping that we get something back soon. That other contact was given recently. So I want to say it was probably last week that I emailed them. And so I will keep you updated if there's anything else that comes up, or if we even get a response as far as who's going to be the contact for the VRN program.
All right. There's another one. We can take this one. How can veteran students stay informed about changes in veterans benefits policies?
I would say va.gov is your best bet. They are constantly updating that website. I would subscribe to their updates that are there. Another resource that I've used, as well as they have Facebook groups, right? So there's Facebook groups for post 9/11. There's Facebook groups for DEA programs that I've seen. I haven't seen a Facebook group for VRNE programs, but at least for the other two, that's out there. And there's constantly questions that are popping up there, and that's kind of where I kind of stay up to date as well with what's going on. Is through those Facebook connections. So that
Okay.
would be my suggestion.
Great, thank you. Last one. Are there any workshops or events specifically designed for veteran students to enhance their financial literacy?
So I know, I want to say it's First Command. They're one of the banks, I guess, that are affiliated with military service members. So they often have little things that they can put together. I do have a contact. If you reach out to me later on, I can try to find it. I do have a contact there. He says he doesn't, I mean, I think there's a certain level that he's allowed to work with. But if you just have questions, he's more than able, more than willing to be able to sit and work with you on, if it's budgeting and stuff like that. He is available.
All right, thank you, Miss Eileen Artero. Sorry, that was a lot of question, but you answer it well.
Not a problem. I'm here to help. And so let me pull this back up before you let me go.
All
So
right.
my contact number is there. So the 735-3342. I am also available on a business WhatsApp line for that number. So please if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me there or WhatsApp, call me on there. And then you also have my email address as well.
All right, thank you, Miss Eileen.
And then
All
Jude, I
right.
see you one more question in
Mhm.
there. We would be that's kind of what I'm working with as far as being able to promote these things. And so there's more things to come out of this office. So I will keep you updated on all those other things as well.
Righty, thank you.
Thanks, Viv.
Thank you. All right. So our next last presenter for tonight is Miss Marie Louise Jorlan from EOG's Bursar office, will provide critical information on managing financial obligation and effective interaction with the Bursar office. Her guidance is integral for Triton students and veterans on their academic journey. Thank you for joining us on this empowering experience. So let's see, Miss Marie Louise Jarland. That's a long name, but beautiful.
Thank you. You guys can call me Louise.
Awesome. Thank you for.
Okay, let me just share my screen real first. Sorry, hold on. Good evening, everyone. My name is Louise Jarlin. I'm from the Bursar's office. I am the program coordinator 1. So what we do at the Bursar is we are committed to providing students and the internal or external community support in meeting their financial obligations to the university. We are also responsible for collection of student tuition accounts, and this involves sending student statement of accounts. Usually we do this through emails, sometimes paper, mail, and we assist students with making payment plans and applying service credit. One of the key things we do is assist students in setting up the TOP, which is the time option payment plan. To set up a TOP, you would need to make a 10% down payment before the payment deadline. And if it's the day of the deadline, it will be 50% down payment that is required. After the balance after the down payment, and there's a $25 setup fee, then your payments will be divided into 3 installments. Please note that there will be an 8.5% interest rate that will be added on all past due accounts. The cashier accepts the following payments: cash, the 4 major credit card, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, checks payable to University of Guam. We do not accept temporary, off-island, or third-party checks. And for any return checks, a service charge of $25 will be applied. Checks can be mailed to the address below, which is University of Guam, 303 University Drive, Manila, 96923-9000. And of course, you can always make payments online via self-service. I have a short video on how to navigate through self-service. You can sign in using your credentials given by the admissions and records, and then if you lost or if you have forgotten your credentials, you can always call the Office of IT at 671-735-2640.
Miss Marie, we can't hear the sound.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, let me just. But you can see the video, right?
Yes, we can see the video, just no
So
sound.
when you log in, you use the yellow button, upper right corner. Yeah. And then you go to select self-service. Sorry. Let me just forward it actually to where you can see and access your student account. Okay, so once you're into the self-service, you can track your account summary where you can view your balances and under student finance. You can also make payment and then look at your account activity. You'll be able to see your charges in there and any balance that you may have. If you feel that there are any discrepancy in your balance, you can contact the bursar's office or you send us an email. The contact number is 735-2945 or 46 or email bursar@triton.uoh.edu. Okay, so a couple of reminders. For 23 fall intersession, Tinalud payment deadline was December 26, 2023. 24 spring Phantom Naklan payment deadline is on January 31, 2024. And if you want to set up a payment plan for 24 spring, the minimum payment of 10% is on before January 30, 2024. And if you want to request for a payment plan during the deadline, which is January 31, we will require 50% down payment. Please know that you don't need to wait for these deadlines to make payment or set up a payment plan. You can contact our office via phone or email to avoid long lines and unexpected wait times. Also, official 1098-T statements for 2023 will soon be available on self-service website for students who consent to receive their statement in electronic format. All students are encouraged to opt into to receive their 1098-T statements in electronic format. This will allow students to view and print current and past 1098-T statements. If you want to consent, you just go and log into your self-service, click on the tax information to change your preferences. And we are located at building number 1 on the campus map, right over here. And our contact number is 671-735-2945 or 46. Email address is bursar@triton.eog.edu. And the hours of operation is Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cashier is open from Mondays to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're closed on government holidays. Yes. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Miss Marie. There is actually one question here on a private chat. What are the consequences of missing payment deadlines, beside the interest, and how
So we,
can students avoid late fees?
okay, so to avoid late fees, we on the course catalog, it will show you when is the deadline. And another consequence for the interest, sometimes if you don't make any payments, we send you a notice. We give you about 30 days, and then there's a chance that you'll be sent to collections if payments haven't been made.
Okay, any participants that has questions? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, there is another one here, private chat. What steps can student take to ensure a smooth interaction with the UOG Bursar office?
Um, we can always email us. However, we do get a lot of email requests. So just give us time. If you can also always call our office, and you can also come to the office to. No need for appointment. You can just walk in for if you want to talk about your account. It's best to be updated. Like if you have any changes on your email address or your mailing address, please let admissions and records know, because we base off sending emails and mails with the records that you have sent to admissions and records.
All right. Any one of you has questions? Looks like we don't have any more questions. Definitely by the end of the semester, you, Miss Marie, will have a lot of questions via email. For sure. Hopefully not though. All right, we don't have any more questions for you, Miss Marie. Thank you very much. All right, so as we conclude today's Enlightenings webinar, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished presenters, Mr. Tupasna, Vanessa from UOG Financial Aid Office, Miss Eileen Artero from UOG Veteran School Certifying Official, and Miss Geraldine from UOG's Versar Office. Your valuable insights have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of financial empowerment for Triton students and veterans. A special thank you to each attendee who actively participated in today's session. Your engagement has played a vital role in the success of this event. Before we part ways, I'd like to emphasize the importance of your feedback. So the survey link is available in the chat box, and I encourage you to, let me type that first before, hold on, where's my chat? It's right here. How can I send this to? Okay, I think I'm just sending it to the host and panelists. Can I send this thing to our participants? Mr. Brian? Am I able to send the link? Looks like I'm not
There should
able.
be a drop down that's near the host and panelists that you can change to everyone.
Okay. Actually, when I tried doing that, it just say I don't have that access. It just says host and panelist.
Hold on.
Are you able to just share it with them? Just copy the link.
Basically, I made you host, so
There you got
I
it.
should be able to change it.
There you go, guys. I have shared the link to the survey. If you can do that for me before you leave tonight. Your insights are invaluable and will guide us in enhancing future sessions to better meet your needs. Additionally, please take note that we have another webinar scheduled for tomorrow, same time, 5:30. Oops, there's got dark right here. Hold on, I'll be back. All right. So we do have a webinar scheduled for tomorrow. So it will focus on scholarships available on campus and offer assistance to those working on boosting their scholarship essays. So we hope to see you there tomorrow via Zoom. Once again, thank you all for your time and participation. We eagerly anticipate future engagement and wish you continued success on your financial empowerment journey. Thank you and have a good night, everyone. All righty. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Hope to see you all tomorrow again.
Miss Vivian, since you're the host, you can just end it.
All right. Do I need to stop the recording?
No, you
Or
can just end it and then it'll render.
all right. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
No
Bye-bye.
problem.
Bye,
Good night.
everyone. Good night.